this is your ball yarn. This is your yarn that goes over your thumb, the tail. To get the right length of tail for, say, well, in this case, we would be casting on 204 stitches for a cowl to join in the round. So you could simply measure that out by wrapping your yarn around your larger needle, or sorry, your smaller needle, I apologize. And let's pretend we wrapped 25 stitches. Well, we would use that as a measuring tool for how long 25 stitches is. And then I would simply just kind of fold over and over and over until I got the length of what I needed. Which in that case, 25 stitches, we're looking at what? Eight lengths of 25 stitches. So you would find it's better to have too long of a tail than too short, because there's nothing worse than too short of a tail. I put the slip knot at the end of the length, and that's counted as the first stitch. Now, in this case, the slip knot is considered a knit stitch. The ball yarn, like I said, goes over the index finger. Tail yarn must go over the thumb. T for tail, T for thumb. That's how I always remember it. Here's the knit stitch. We need to do 15 stitches of knit and purl. We're going to do it my usual twisted knitted way, in the rib fashion. So this is the knit. Oops, of course I always start wrong. So this is the knit, and there is the purl. Do you see that? Let's do that again. Our yarn looks like a slingshot. You take the needle in the neutral position, it's pointing straight up. You're going to go over the thumb, or sorry, over the index finger, come up through the center of the slingshot, go over and swoop, 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 and back up around, and you'll have a stitch that has a bar across the front. So it looks like a purl. Now we need to do a knit. The knit is the exact opposite. We're going to start in our neutral position, come over and under the thumb, up through the center of the V, and over, swoop, 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 all the way around, and there's our knit. And you can see it looks like a knit stitch, although the legs are oriented funny. We need 15 of these, so let's continue. Next is the purl. Okay, there we go. Now I'm using a straight needle to put on this cast on. Whoop. I'm using a straight needle to put the cast on. I find it not as unwieldy as using a circular needle, but you certainly, if you're very clever with a circular needle, you can certainly just put it on with a circular needle. We will be transferring to a circular needle at one point. Okay, so there's a purl. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. A knit. That's what we need next. Is that going to be a knit? Yeah. So there's a knit. Purl. A knit, sorry. Purl. Knit. Purl. Knit. Purl. Knit. We should be leaving off with a knit. Let's take a look and see how many we've got. 2. Okay, so let's see how many we've got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Let's do a purl. 14, 15. Okay, now this is the first part of the broken. We still are in slingshot mode. What we're going to do is create a purl stitch. And the way we're going to do it is like this. Slip the tip of the needle under the thumb. If you pull the slingshot down, you see how it kind of wraps around the thumb? Put the needle up through that. The tip of the needle is now going to scoop up this yarn that's the slingshot part going over the index finger. See how that is? And now we're going to bring that right through this hoop. Ta-da! And then we're going to snug everything up. A purl stitch. Let's do it again because we need to have two. So, you'll notice I never dropped the tail, which is the thumb. I never dropped the ball yarn, which is the index finger. So we're going to do that broken purl again. Slip through. See when I pull the yarn needle down, you'll see it kind of makes like a loop around the thumb. Come up through the loop. Now we're going to need to grab that index finger yarn, so we'll just kind of come over and scoop it and pull that right through. See how it goes through the loop of the thumb? Now I'm just going to snuggie that up. And by snugging it up, I did this. I basically moved my fingers like this. So my ball yarn still over index, thumb tail yarn still over thumb. So now we need to do 15 more stitches starting with a knit. We're going to do our tubular knit. Needle in the central position or neutral position. Let me see. Yeah, I get it confused sometimes too. So needle will go around, over the thumb, up through the middle, scoop over the index, swoop, 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 and it has the look of a knit stitch. Now we do a purl in the tubular way. I'm going to go from the neutral position over the index and up and swoop, 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 swoop all the way under the thumb and around. There's our purl. So we're going to do our knit, purl, knit, and the purl. Just going to keep doing it a little fast here. There. Let's see, how many we have? Let's count. I apologize for the shaking camera. My needle is quite long and it keeps hitting the charging cable. Those are the two purls that break the rib of this tubular cast on. That's knit through the back of the loop. We'll get to that. So that's how you'll find, by that odd little look right there, that's how you'll find your purls. Okay, so how many do we have since that? So there's the knit stitch. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, got 12 there. 13, 14, 15. Now, this is the last, or I should say, in the pattern repeat, there are 34 stitches for the Wrought with Time Cowl. So here would be the last of the 34 stitches, the 2 purls that creates the break in the rib. So remember, we've got our yarn like a slingshot. Bring it down low. I'm going to scoop up as knitwise through that thumb loop, swoop it over index finger, and then pull through that thumb loop. We let go and then use the thumb to help snug it up. 1 purl, need another one. Up through, over, bring through the loop, snug it up, 2 purls. This is 34 stitches here for our repeat. At this point, you could hang a stitch marker. Okay, so we've cast on the proper amount, and this is my tail yarn here. Thank goodness I had enough. And here's the ball yarn. So what we're going to do is turn our work, and you'll remember we left off with the 2 purls that we had created on this side. So on this side, we shall knit those. Now I'm transferring already over to my circular needle in the smaller size. So that may be something you would wish to do at this point, or you can continue using straight needles if you wish. So those are knit. Now, the purls that we created through the tubular cast on must be slipped tip to tip with the yarn in front. So here's my first purl. So tip to tip slipped, yarn goes to the back. All of the knits, as you can see, they're kind of arranged funny with their legs like so. You just simply knit through the back of the loop. Okay? So slipping purls, tip to tip with the yarn in front, yarn to the back, knit through the back of the loop. And we shall do this until we get to our broken rib part. Which is every 15 stitches of this rib. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Now here we are at the last stitch right here before the 2 broken ribs, right? This is a purl, so we're going to bring the yarn to the front, slip it, yarn to the back, and since these were purled on the other side, we're going to knit them. And we knit as normal, not through the back of the loop. There. And now we continue. So we have another purl, yarn to the front, tip to tip, slip, yarn to the back, and knit the knits through the back of the loop. So you can see that I'm almost at the end of my cast on the second pass, because this particular cast on has 3 steps to it. and I'm at the end of the second, almost. So this is a knit through the back of the loop, purl, yarn to the front and slip, knit through the back of the loop, and we're at a purl. So yarn to the front and slip. Now we're going to do the third pass, which is, I had transferred over to my circular needles that I am to use. So what I'm going to do is work this third pass all the way around. Once I'm at the end, then I will join. So we're not joining yet. The third pass is exactly the same. Now, this is a knit. We're going to knit all knits through the back of the loop. This is what causes that lovely, oop, look, there's a mistake. Oh. Okay, so this is what causes the lovely twist right from the bottom of the brim, like the hat edge. Now here is a purl, remember, yarn to the front, we're going to slip. The only purls that we don't slip are the ones that are created through the broken rib. So here's a knit, knit through the back of the loop, purl, slip, knit through the back of the loop, purl, slip, and you'll see that the yarn, I've been flicking it forward for the purls and flicking it back to knit through the back of the loop, there we go. Now, where are we? We're almost getting up to, yeah, we're almost getting to our broken part of our rib. Okay. Oh, here we are. So the last one was a knit through the back of the loop. Here are our purls. Our yarn I brought to the front. Purl those stitches as regular purls. Okay. Then we start again. All knits through the back of the loop. All tubular purls. Yarn to the front, slipped tip to tip, and again knits through the back of the loop. So we've worked all the way across our row. Let's get some proper lighting here for you. And you can see we are back at our very first starting point. There's our tail yarn. And the last two stitches, of course, are regular purls. So we simply purl those as normal. There we go. You can even snug that up with the tail yarn. Okay, so the next part is actually beginning the first round of the pattern. This is the completed cast on.